What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Anglers RX. We're back on Tuesdays. Basketball season for the little one is done. And so we're back to our normal day this week and going forward. We'll just hop right in it today. We got the man, the myth, and the legend, Mr. Greg Gutierrez, on the show.
Yeah, smoke.
Yeah, no.
And if you guys don't know who he is, you've been living under a rock. So they had the BAM Super 60 inaugural event 2 weekends ago up at Don Pedro.
Yep, actually,
And
yeah, 2 weekends ago.
two weekends ago. And old Greg put a hurting on them boys and took another inaugural trophy. So
That's right.
And let's not forget a $50,000 cash payback.
Oh yeah. I got guys walking up to me asking me, "Did they really give you 50K right there?" And I said, "Right there." They handed me a check, and I walked away. No, it's not in the mail.
Yep.
I promise. It was right in my. I mean, I went home and put it in the bank, paid off my truck. I got that taken care of.
nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Put the rest in a high yield dividend for 6 months and making money.
There you go. Hopefully you
Very
got a
nice.
little bit of some contingency cash on top of all that and you made
Oh,
out
yeah.
like a bandit this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah.
Bass Cat takes care of you, man. That's for sure. I got that and some other things going. So now I just
Heck
got to
yeah.
get home and send off all the applications.
No work never stops.
Somebody's got to do it though. You know what I mean? I'm
Yep.
just lucky. I'm just lucky it's me this time.
Heck yeah. So you're getting we'll talk about Pedro. So 30 days off limits, right? On the Super 60.
Right?
How much you've obviously fished Pedro before.
Yeah.
But you're a big Shasta guy, so did it kind of remind you a little bit of Shasta with the spotted bass and everything down there?
Yeah. The spots are. They play the same. The largemouth was key. I mean, everything I weighed in on the last day was all a largemouth.
Okay.
And yeah, and what's crazy is
Mhm.
I found these fish the month before during the pro-am, and I caught them off some bridge pilings, and then I fished around, swimming a minute around some of the steep stuff, but I just stopped in on these bridge pilings, and they started firing, and I thought, well, 20 minutes. About 20 minutes, I figured I can hammer these things out and catch a bunch of fish and make the cut by numbers, and that was the whole thing. That's the whole thing is either you can make it by numbers or you can make it by weight. So those are the two ways to qualify to make the last day, and so I went with numbers to get in.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will tell you, we fished the BBT there last Saturday, and there were boats on the bridge pylons.
Yeah, I bet there were.
Definitely listen to what Greg said.
I bet there were.
There was definitely boats on the bridge pylons.
Now, were the fish pinned up against the cement, or were they out
No.
suspended in the shade?
No, they were out suspended, and as far as shade, the last day there was no real shade whatsoever. The wind was blowing, a solid 10 to 10 to 10 to 20 with gusts about 35. So it was just get the angle on it and get the line in there to where it would drag into it. So I would fire it upwind above the piling, and then I would just let it fall into it, and they would swim out and eat it. It was it was really interesting. Yeah.
You must have had one heck of a ride sitting there on those bridge pylons all day in that wind.
Well, I had no plans of fishing there because they had none. Day one, I caught all those numbers, and I thought, yeah, this will work. I'm just going to catch numbers. Day two, I went there, and it was a struggle to catch numbers. I had like 9 fish, and I took off, and I caught a couple of good ones on the other bridge pilings. But I thought, you know what? I can't sit here and catch these fish. I think I have enough numbers, so I'm going to go look for more. And I ran up into Moccasin, and I found a bunch of fish on beds, and I was catching these 3.5 pounders, and taking pictures, photographing them for Tourney X, and then I was releasing them right back onto the bed, and I still ended up weighing 2 pounders, but I released 3 pounders. Just I know it doesn't make sense, but It made sense to me. I was fishing for numbers, but I wanted to be able to have those fish available for day 3, and so
Yeah.
I had no intention of fishing them on the last day. I was on my way up there, and I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna stop here and see if I can't uh, catch a quick limit and make myself feel good about it. And so I did. I had about 9 or 10 fish in a hurry. Had about 10 pounds at that, and they gave us an observer for the last day. So I told him, I said, hey, Joaquin, let's go. And we jumped in the boat, and I'm taking off, and I looked there was one bridge pylon left that I had not fished. And I thought, well, I'll just go over there. And I pulled over there, and I just gave it a quick scope to see if there was any fish on it, how they were positioned. And I seen the fish there, fired up on them, stuck one about 3 1/4, fought that fish in, put it in the live well cold, stepped back up, moved back up there, fired out again, same exact cast, stuck one about 368 because I cold that fish. I remember it was a spot. And then from there I looked at him and I says, yeah, I think I know what I'm going to be doing all day long, because it just made sense. So I messed around and bounced over to another bridge out in front of Moccasin, and these round ones, and they're not the best, but they had some decent fish on them, some, I don't know, 2 3/4, 3 pound fish, and I caught the rest of a limit that way. So I had 16 pounds maybe, and I thought, well, maybe I should go in there in the Moccasin now, and I looked at what I was doing, and I was looking at some of the fish that I could see on live active target, and I told him I'm pot committed, man. I sat there for, I don't know, about an hour. I had about an hour and a half left, and in that last 45 minutes, I culled everything I had to get 18 pounds.
So you did some last minute heroics for sure.
Well, yeah, because I was telling my road dog Billy Hines, we traveled there and stayed. He had his camper. We were kind of working together, and I told him, I said, the largemouth are coming. They're moving in. They're heading back into Moccasin, and these things were ready to go. They were plump, and so I just figured they were coming to me, and every time I went through, I just picked one off, and I went through them. I cycled through them a couple, 3, 4 times, and it was crazy. The bigger quality fish would move up out of the depths. You could see them down there 20, 30, 40 feet down, and then all of a sudden they would be up right up into the wind. Waves were crashing on the piling, and then I'd cast up there with a little Nico rig or a tube, and they would just eat it.
So you got to wait for them to come up. Then once they got up in the water column, you knew that was time.
Yep, I would pull up, scan it real quick with forward facing, and then if they weren't there, I just move on.
I gotcha.
And if they were up in that 10-foot, I'd throw.
What did you have your transducer depth set at? So you didn't look at those deeper ones. You just leave it at like 20 feet if they were in that 20-foot range, or what?
No, I put it at 60 so I could see where they were. If they were down and there was numbers of fish down there, then I would just keep it in my rotation. If there was nothing around, I just left.
I got you.
But I don't like staring at fish when I'm fishing for them. I just like to know they're there and how they're positioned. And then after that, I just fish.
Okay. That's good. That's you've adopted to the new technology, and you learned how to use the tool that suits what you're doing. And hey, man, it paid off. Hands down.
I mean, I may be old, but I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
I've been around a long time, and I'm not saying I'm some superhero, but I do okay. I've got a lot of techniques. I've got a lot of tools in the toolbox, and there's other guys that have 1 or 2 things that they do, and people think I'm just a spinning rod guy, but every time they see me on videos flipping and punching, they wonder, didn't know you could do that, or catching them with a swim bait, or or throwing top water baits, or whatever I'm doing that's totally different than a spinning rod. And guys, I just didn't think you did that. It's like, well, I got a huge toolbox but again, I really don't believe that I should compete against lesser fishermen or better, lesser fishermen with crappy electronics, and have them beat me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
I don't want to be beat by a lesser fisherman with better electronics. So I need to have them, not just on my boat, but I need to understand them. And
Yeah.
I do. I put my work in, I put my time in, and I mean, there's a bunch of things people could say about forward facing, but it's a tool, and it's only as good as you make it. So,
Yes. Hands down.
Exactly.
if you're good enough to win the Bassmaster Classic, dude, you're a stud.
Oh
That's what
heck yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like, they're giving poor Easton Fothergill a bunch of crap. It's like, dude, everybody was using it. Guess what? He outfished them using the same technology everybody else had. Hands
exactly.
down.
Yeah.
You know,
What? I don't know if I see a boat out there anymore that doesn't have it on.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, if you don't use it, you are what you are. You got
Yep.
what you got. You get what you put into it, right?
Yep.
And
Well, and I think it goes to say too, even though you have it, doesn't mean you're
that's
going to be
correct.
catching them. You still got to figure them
That's
out,
100%.
and
That's like my first
so
year of kayak fishing, tournament fishing. I was still pretty new to fishing in general, and I'm like, man, these guys constantly kicking my butt. Like, what are they doing different? And then you start meeting some of these guys, like, oh yeah, they're we're live scoping them. I'm like, live scope, okay, let me check that out. And yeah, I had a motor and I put live scope on the kayak, and I can be beat by it. Like hands down, learn how to do it and learn how to use it to make it to where it works for me.
Yep, it's an amazing tool, but it is not the end all. Like I say, is I don't like looking at fish when I'm fishing for them. To be honest
Yeah.
with you, I usually will scan, see the depth, see their position, and then I will turn my head, or I put I got a switch that I have right on the bow, and I cut off the forward facing, and I'll fish for them. I know how they are. I mean, I just
But you're also understanding the seasonal patterns. You understand what the fish are doing, what they're fishing,
correct.
the behavior is going to be. You're
Correct.
putting yourself in the right spots to catch the fish. You're not just, none of us are going out just randomly panning around. And some guys go chase the pelagic fish, but
Yeah.
there's a method to your madness.
Correct.
And that comes from years of experience.
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
Talk about years of experience, Greg. I remember years ago watching you in a Bassmaster tournament at Clearlake.
Yep.
And then also, didn't you go back east and fish the Bassmasters?
Yeah, I fished the Bassmaster Tour back when it was the Sitco 150s, and
Okay.
I qualified for it several times, but I never went until the very last. I think 2004 is when I decided I would go. My wife decided I was going to go. She'd been saving money and was waiting for me to qualify for it again and tell me I was going to tell her I'm not going again, and I did. She goes, "Oh no excuses this time." So I went back there, and I had a
that's
blast,
awesome.
man. I qualified for a couple of Bassmaster Classics, and was one of the first original elite Bassmaster Elite guys. And then people don't remember this, but they even had the tour, the Elite 50s before they had the Bassmaster Elite Series. They had the Elite 50s, so you had to qualify through the tour, the Sitco 150s, to fish the Elite 50s. And they did that for 1 year, and then they went to the Bassmaster Elites.
Yes. So yeah,
Did you
like I
fish
said,
did you fish with Mike Reynolds back then?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And then who else was there? There was obviously Aaron Martins was there.
Yeah, he was. Yep. Ski. Yeah, Jimmy Reese was doing it all. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, and then
Double Shot was there. He was always coming down and being a hammer. There's a bunch of guys that are just not around anymore.
right.
Yeah.
And look, and you're at Clearlake getting ready to go qualify for the Bass Nation National Championship, so you'll fish the Classic again.
Well, you know what? I already qualified for it at Shasta.
That's right. You're right. You
Yeah.
did. You did.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that.
If I qualify for it again, maybe they'll let me double my weight.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah. So, what do you guys got cooking over there at Frenzy Baits? Anything cool coming out?
Oh.
I know you.
I've got a couple of things. Couple of things that are coming. I've got a brand new forward-facing sonar head out. It's called the FFS stroller, and it's a lot like the Range Roller. It's got the same kind of basic head design, high heavy set offset. But what I did is I put hang on a second, it's about to get loud here. I put the weights, instead of having the littler weights on there penciled in, I had them engraved in there, so on both sides of the head, so you can actually know what you're picking up. So it's got a stouter hook, and then it's got a double barb system, like I had my nail, only I doubled it up, one on each side, and it man, you can't hardly pull a bait off of that thing. If you do, it's going to be destroyed. It's pretty impressive. The hook holder, or the bait keeper, holds everything on in place. And so that's out and selling now. So you can find those. Oh gosh, I think Tackle Warehouse, Fish USA has them. Fisherman's Warehouse doesn't, and if you're out of the Redding area, Red Bluff area, you got Red Bluff Sporting Goods and Phil's, obviously. And then I got a few more places that are also getting them, but they're just getting out. Those are brand new.
What size ranges do you have on those?
Oh, yeah. So I have a 3/32, a tiny little thing, 3/32 with a 1/0 hook, and a 1/8 ounce with a 1/0 hook, and then I have a 1/8 ounce with a 1/0 or 2/0 and 3/0, and then
Nice.
I have a 3/16 with a 2/0 and 3/0, and I have a 1/4 with 2/0 and 3/0, and then I have a 3/8 with a 3/0 and 4/0. So
Okay.
you can put a big minnow on, you can fish deep, you can fish shallow. Like here right now, I'm throwing an 1/8 ounce, a 3/16, and a 1/4, and I can fish anything from 3 foot of water, 2 foot of water, to out to probably 15 foot of water, and I'm just covering, water looking for fish. But there's so many fish, so much bait. I just think those minnows get lost in the shad cloud right now.
Yeah, I don't know what I can say or can't say to you since you're fishing it. I don't know what their information is. So yeah, I won't say anything.
Yeah, no. Well,
Yeah.
officially, they don't have an official practice, but it is getting down to the point where if I haven't found them myself, then
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to talk about. I was just talking about. Yeah, just exactly.
yeah. I don't want to be doing no
Yep.
Scott Martin movie or anything
No,
like
no
that.
kidding.
Yeah.
That's why I was getting ready
Yeah.
to say something. I was like, oh wait, no, I probably shouldn't say that right now.
But and I know it's crazy. I mean, I got a buddy of mine that hasn't fished a tournament in 20 years, and he's never fished Don Pedro, and he's never fished Mojave, and he starts telling me, oh, you know what you're gonna be doing, and I looked at him and I just stuck my fingers in my ears. I'm going la 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 la, and the guy's got no help for me. But my God, I don't want to be stuck in a position where
Yeah.
I just don't want to get stuck in a position to where I'm.
Yeah.
Hi fans, it's me again.
I screwed up, but I didn't screw up. Yeah, I hear you.
So I got that forward facing deal. I've got I'm working on a 3/8 ounce, 1/2 ounce, and 3/4 ounce nail. I have and I'm going to try and do a a 8th ounce and a 3/16 ounce with a smaller hook, like a 3/16 or a 3/0 hook. So I have custom hooks being made, and I want to check real quick. Can you hear that, or is it overpowering you?
You're good. You're good.
Nope.
Okay, cool.
You
I can
can
hear it,
hear
but
it.
you're good. Yeah.
I'll turn this way. So, but anyhow, so I've got the nails coming, but I've got the hooks being built. But when they talk about slow boat from China, they are not kidding. It is forever. It's taken forever. So
Yeah.
I've got to deal with all that, and once those get in, then I can get the heads done. I've already talked to the manufacturer and in Springfield, and they understand what I want. So those will be made here in the States. I've got all my nails being made in the States here. I've got some old stock that I'm still trying to get rid of, but most of my stuff's going to be made here.
Good.
I've got a
So,
new those. So those are new. Go ahead.
I was say, so
No,
how did Frenzy start in your garage? Was it like, is
Actually,
it where did Frenzy start from?
Frenzy started in a buddy of mine's garage, and it was right after the A rig busted, and he had come out with this new design with spinners on it and a skirt on it to look like a spinnerbait. And he was showing me that, and I go, dude, you might want to put that on the market. So he went together with his dad and built this brand, Frenzy Baits. They got a good friend from their church who does all that branding, marketing. Matter of fact, he was the guy that designed the Motel 6 logo. So he's got a lot of big stuff, and he came up with this Frenzy Baits logo, which was really cool. And I know that's way too much. Well, he ended up getting um, a ride to Oregon and was going to school there and was on the fishing team, and he couldn't do everything. So he asked me if I'd be interested in buying him out. So he was already selling baits for me. I was designing baits for him, and he was selling my baits under his brand. So it seemed like a perfect fit, and so that's what I did. I bought him out. He went to school, and I still keep him stocked up, though. I got to make sure I keep him stocked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how Frenzy started, and it's still run out of I got a bedroom. My whole business is out of a little bedroom in my house, and it's not big, but it's it keeps me paying taxes. That's about it.
It
That's
keeps you
about it.
fishing. It keeps
Yeah.
you fishing.
Yeah, it does. It keeps me. What do you say? Um, valid, pertinent. Just because a lot of times I haven't been fishing, off and on just because of my wife's illnesses and stuff like that. And, so now I'm back to fishing, and all is good. Um, but yeah,
So we got
what else
some
did I?
minnows. We got some minnows, the big shaky heads, which I can't, or nails, which I can't wait. That's gonna
I've,
be
I've, I've got a new weight also that I'm working on that is really cool. It's going to be neat. So if you throw flukes or if you throw you like fishing, things weightless, but they need to have weight in them. Like I can throw a Kitech, a 3.8 Kitech with this special weighting system I have, and rig it completely weightless and reel it right through the tules, right through the grass, whatever. I can put weight in Cinco and fish a regular Cinco Texas rig down to 30 foot if I want. So it's pretty neat. I got some.
Wow.
I can't tell you exactly what it is, but it is a weight that's it's internal, and it's really
amazing.
cool. It's really cool. It's gonna. I think that's gonna change a lot of things because I'm yeah. It'll be neat. It's amazing what you can do. When you put a nail, in a Nico rig, and you're talking about a 64th of an ounce, and how far you can fish at 64th of an ounce down in the water column. You can get it down there deep, or 32nd. Well, heck, you're deep, but now I can put that same kind of weight into a Cinco, into a Kitech, into a beaver, anything, and rig it totally weedless, but have no external weight on it whatsoever, and just swim it through tulies, anything. It's pretty cool. I'm a tinkerer, so
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
so
that'd be cool. Check that out when it drops.
yep. But everything takes time, I gotta. It's getting them built, and then I gotta buy so many of them, 25,000 of them, and that takes a little bit of money. I gotta plunk down for each one, and each size I have to have 20,000 of each one, so it just adds up. So I got to do it slowly in little bites.
Yeah, for sure. Well, cool. I won't keep you too long. I know you gotta do your pre-tournament meeting there, and
Yeah.
you got a bunch of tackle to rig tonight, I'm sure, and make sure everything's all good to go tomorrow. So, what do you think? What's your expectations over 3 days up there to win?
Well, they're talking about 30 pounds a day, and I believe these guys can catch 30 pounds a day here. What I've seen, if I divvied out and everything went right, I could maybe do 25 to 27 a day, but there's more fish moving up, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go looking. Obviously, I have a one I'm throwing a glide bait on. I don't mind saying anything. I'm throwing a glide bait on, and I watched a 9-10 pounder just roll that thing up, disappeared the whole thing in its mouth, and then spit it out. And it was like everything I could do to keep from setting the hook on it. But
Oh yeah.
I managed. So I bobbed my hooks, and I went down the bank and had them fight for it, and I left that area and have not been back. So I will start there, and hopefully I will get my fish early.
Yeah. 180,
no
100,
no axes.
180 plus boats.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Nice.
do you know what flight you're in yet?
No, just starting to
Find
meet
out.
right now.
Yeah,
So
I got you. Cool. All right, bud. Thanks for jumping. Congrats on Pedro.
Yeah,
Good luck.
congratulations on Pedro.
no,
thank
thank you.
congratulations. One hell of a year so far, man.
It's been good. Yeah, I've been blessed. No doubt in my mind. It's been.
Go out
Yeah.
and win this one.
Well,
Win
Yeah,
this
yeah.
one too.
keep it going. Go win this one.
I'm gonna try.
Heck
All
yeah.
right.
All right, bud.
Good luck.
Thanks for joining.
All right.
All right, Greg. What a pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Man, I don't want to keep him too long. He's got meetings, and like I said, he's got a rig tackle. He's getting ready for the Wombass Open at Clearlake starting tomorrow. So good luck to him. Guys, next week, no show. We'll be back after that. I think this weekend's Berryessa for Yakabas, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so John,
Yeah.
your job
correct.
while I'm not around is to find out who wins that and bring them on the show.
I'll be there.
Okay, that's your job.
Oh, so in other words, we'll have Johnny
Right.
on next week or the
Yeah.
week after.
Hopefully.
So not next week, but the week after. So the 19th is Saturday, 22nd, something like that. So, yeah, man. Other than that, we'll be back to normal broadcast hours, Tuesday nights. Don't forget to visit Headwaters Venture Company. Check the website out. Check the couple stores out. They've got what you need in the kayak industry. Biona Power.
Yeah. Brian's got the shop all
That's
moved.
right. Brian's got same parking lot guys in the Reading store just across the way.
Yep.
He's got a much bigger building now. He's got more stuff. Yeah,
Much
huge.
larger.
He's got more things in the storefront and whatnot than he had before. So I'm kind of excited to get up there at some point and check it out. I haven't been up there in a while. Biona Power, the word TEN, save you 10%. First Gen Fishing,
All
Anglers
caps.
RX, 10. Save 10% at First Gen Fishing.
Yep.
And yeah, man. Other than that, good luck this weekend to those of y'all that are fishing Barry. John, good luck.
Thank you.
Bring home the wind. Heck
Have
yeah.
fun.
I will.
Next up for me is the end of April. We'll be at Clearlake for 2 days. Looking forward to that. That should be a fun weekend.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward. I know some guys are heading down to Havasu for the Arizona tournament down there. Good luck to you guys. Safe travels to those that are driving down there. And
What
it's
tournament's
the
that one?
Arizona Bass Nation one. It's their West Coast Championship qualifier and for the national championship for bass. So
Yeah.
that's this weekend. And other than that, yeah, I think that's. I don't know what other tournaments are going on. BAM's next one is in May, middle of May, up at Almanor. If you guys haven't heard, Folsom, as of the 14th of this month, will be closed for 30 days. They're going to implement the whole banning process and blah, 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 blah. So Miller Lake is down and out.
There was also a YouTube video that came out for Lake
Yeah.
Tolic. Yeah, so that's looking like it's a no-go for at least
He
the
did
rest of
say
this year.
kayaks can launch, but he never specified on trailer launched or motorized kayaks. Dude, get out of my room.
Yeah.
Go. Yeah. You're too noisy. They all heard you. Get out of here.
I don't care.
Oh my God. Little kids. Little kids, I tell you. Anyway, yeah, so if we find out more information on that stuff, on trailer launch or not, or motorized or not, and that's the problem is every water agency and every different body of water wants to do their own thing right now, so we don't have any standardized things to tell you. But yeah, Tolic and Lake Clementine up in Auburn, not Tolic, Folsom and Lake Clementine are the next two on the banding process. And I get it. They're trying to cut back on the amount of traffic these lakes are going to have because it's starting to get hot. And right now, those are the only two in the area. But the downfall thing is, if you guys all are going to the Delta, please, 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 please be very careful. You're going to have a lot of new people on the Delta because that's going to be the only body of water they don't have to get banded to go to. High vis flags. Make yourself visible in the water because you're going to have a bunch of yahoos running around blind corners, and I hope nobody gets hurt out there.
Well, and then, you get out there in the Delta and mix alcohol too, and that even makes it worse.
So I implore you guys to, I think we should have bigger kayak safety flags. That way y'all can be seen. So, because it's going to get bad out there this summer. So, but anyway, guys, I'm done rambling. I'm out. We will catch you all next week. Thank you.
Peace out.
Donald Bailey, we miss you, buddy. How you doing?
We miss you, dude.
My little buddy. Anyway, guys, we will catch you all on the flip side.
Have a